Good evening, everyone. Have you ever wondered how one small act of kindness can ripple through the lives of people in ways we could never imagine? Sometimes it's the simplest gestures, done with no expectation of reward, that leave the most lasting impact. Tonight, I want to share with you a story that illustrates this truth in a profound way. A story about a young boy, a wealthy man, and a flat tire that changed everything. Let me take you to a quiet suburban street, one of those neighborhoods where the sound of birds chirping and the rustling of leaves in the wind is occasionally interrupted by passing cars. On this particular day, the sun hung high in the sky, casting its warm glow over everything. Standing on the side of the road, looking utterly defeated, was Johnathan Haynes, a man whose life most people would envy. Johnathan was a self-made millionaire, known for his sharp business acumen and luxurious lifestyle. His car, a gleaming black Bentley, was the very symbol of his success. But on this day, success wasn't helping him. His car had suffered a flat tire, and Johnathan, dressed in his tailored suit and polished shoes, was utterly out of his depth. To make matters worse, his phone had run out of battery, leaving him stranded and completely at the mercy of passing drivers. As car after car sped by, people either glanced at him briefly or pretended not to notice. The assumption was clear. He's rich. He'll figure it out. Johnathan, however, was growing increasingly frustrated. His wealth and status meant nothing at this moment. He was just another man stuck on the side of the road, needing help. But then, something remarkable happened. Down the street, riding an old, slightly rusty bicycle, came a young boy named Elijah. At just 12 years old, Elijah was full of life and curiosity. He lived a modest life with his mother and grandparents in a small house nearby. Despite their financial struggles, his family had instilled in him the values of hard work, kindness, and helping others whenever possible. As Elijah pedaled closer, he noticed the stranded car and the man standing beside it. Without hesitation, he pulled over, hopped off his bike, and approached the stranger. His eyes were filled with a mix of curiosity and determination. "Sir, do you need help?" Elijah asked, his voice filled with sincerity. Johnathan looked at the boy, surprised by his presence. Here he was, a young kid, offering assistance, while dozens of adults had driven by without a second glance. "You know how to fix a tire?" Johnathan asked, a hint of doubt in his voice. Elijah smiled confidently. "Yes, sir. My grandpa taught me. I can help if you want." Johnathan hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "All right, kid. Let's see what you've got." And so Elijah got to work. He dropped his backpack on the ground, pulled off his school blazer, and began replacing the flat tire. It wasn't an easy task. The tools were heavy and the lug nuts were stubborn. But Elijah didn't complain. As he worked, he chatted with Johnathan, asking him about his car and sharing his dream of becoming a mechanical engineer someday. Despite the sweat on his brow and the grease on his hands, Elijah's enthusiasm never wavered. Within 20 minutes, the job was done. The flat tire was replaced and the Bentley was ready to hit the road again. Johnathan, impressed and deeply touched by the boy's effort, looked at him and said, "You've got skills, Elijah. Thank you for helping me. How can I repay you?" Elijah shook his head. "You don't need to repay me, sir. My grandpa says we should always help people when we can." But Johnathan wasn't satisfied with just a thank you. He insisted on giving Elijah a ride home and meeting the family that had raised such an incredible young man. Elijah agreed, and together they drove to his small, modest home at the edge of the neighborhood. When they arrived, Johnathan met Elijah's mother and grandparents. He told them about Elijah's act of kindness and how impressed he was by the boy's skill and determination. "You've raised an exceptional young man," Johnathan said, his voice full of admiration. Elijah's family beamed with pride. They thanked Johnathan for his kind words, but didn't think much of the encounter beyond that. To them, Elijah had simply done what was right. But for Johnathan, the story didn't end there. A week later, Johnathan returned to Elijah's home, this time with a life-changing offer. He had set up a scholarship fund for Elijah to attend the best school in the state. The scholarship would cover everything: tuition, books, supplies, and even a laptop. "This is not charity," Johnathan said. "It's an investment in your future. You have the talent and the drive. I want to help you achieve your dreams." Elijah and his family were overwhelmed with gratitude. For the young boy, it was the opportunity of a lifetime. With the scholarship, Elijah excelled in school, eventually earning a place at a prestigious university where he studied mechanical engineering. Years later, he became a successful engineer, working to design innovative solutions for communities in need. And through it all, Elijah never forgot the lesson his grandpa had taught him: kindness costs nothing, but it can mean everything. I missed them. I missed them so much. This story reminds us of something profound. It's not the size of our actions that matters, but the heart behind them. Elijah didn't stop to help Johnathan because he expected a reward. He did it because it was the right thing to do. And that one moment of selflessness created a ripple effect that changed his life forever. So, the next time you see someone in need, remember Elijah. Whether it's a flat tire, a helping hand, or even just a kind word, you have the power to make a difference. Who knows? You might just change someone's life. And maybe even your own.